Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tea Time Crochet. Today we're going to be working on these roses. They're very simple, and I have the numbers worked up for 4 different sizes, so I will tell you what those sizes will be when we get to the tutorial. You can do these flowers in one color, you can do them in the 2 colors like I did here. You could do it in variegated, which I think would look very pretty. And these roses are done in one long strip, and then you sew them together in the back as you wind them up together. And then you're able to leave a long string to tie it on to whatever project you have. This is the large size, and then this is the extra large. I also have the number of stitches for the small and the medium. This tutorial will be for the small, and it doesn't matter, it's the same steps, it's just the matter of the number of stitches that you start with in the chain that will give you the different sizes. So what you're going to need today is you're going to need some worsted weight yarn. I just have Red Heart Super Saver here, and it is a worsted number 4, and it's just this blue, and its name is blue. It's just a dark blue. It doesn't matter what color you use, it's just personal preference. And then for my contrasting color, I just have this lighter blue. It's another Red Heart Super Saver. I don't have the label, so I can't give you the name of the color. You're also going to need a number 6 or a 6mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a darning needle with a large eye. So today we're going to be doing the size small. So I'm just going to start off with my slip knot. I have a beginner's video tutorial on how to do all the basic stitches. If you want to check them out, I'll leave them in the description bar below. So to start off with, for the size small, I'm going to chain 22. Now for the size medium, you would need to chain 42. For the large, you would need to chain 62, and for the extra large, you would need to chain 82. So we're going to be doing the size small. So I'm going to chain 22 stitches. So I'm going to have my slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through. And that is the chain stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 22, and then I will be back. Okay, I have my 22 stitches, or my 22 chains. Now I'm going to double crochet in the second or in the 3rd chain from the hook. So I'm going to yarn over and double crochet into this stitch right here. And then I'm going to double crochet into each chain across. So I'm going to continue doing that, and then I will be back. So I'm down to my last chain here, and I'm just going to double crochet in it. So I'm going to turn, and I am going to slip stitch over to this space between the double crochets. So to slip stitch, I'm just going to go into that space pull up a loop, and I'm going to pull it through that chain, and I'm going to pull it tight. So to start our petals, I'm going to chain one here, kind of a loosely chain one, and then I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to half double into that chains, or in that space between the double crochets. That's where all of our petals are going to be worked, into all these spaces between the double crochets. So I'm going to half double, and then I'm going to double crochet twice, and then I'm going to half double, and then I'm going to single. Okay, so our petals are going to consist of the first one's going to have a chain one, but the rest of them, when you start your petal, will be a single crochet, a half double, 2 double crochets, half double, and then single. And that will make up our petals. So in the next space, I'm just going to jump over here to the next space between the double crochet, which is right here. I'm going to single crochet. And this petal will be the same for every petal all the way to the end. So single crochet, half double, double crochet, double crochet, half double, and then another single. And you want to squish over your stitches as you're going along. You'll want to pull them this way. That way you have enough room to fit all of those stitches in that space. So that is what our petals look like. So I'll do one more with you. So once again, we're going to skip over to this space between the double crochets. We're going to single crochet into that space. Then 1 half double, 2 double crochets, one half double, and then 1 single, all in the same space. So there's our petals. So I want you to continue that in each one of the spaces between the double crochets all the way to the end, and I'll meet back up with you at the end. Okay, I have made it back, or down to my last space right here. And this is the chain 2 that we started with. So I'm going to put one last petal in there. So I'm going to single crochet, going to half double, 2 double crochets, and then a half double, and then another single. Now we're going to go ahead and fasten off here. This is kind of where you get to choose what you want to do. So if you want to just have the one color, then you can be done here if you would like. If you want to have the contrast color on it, then we're going to go ahead and cut this yarn. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to yarn over, and that will secure that last stitch, and then I'm going to cut it. I'm going to pull it tight. So this is kind of what it looks like, what we've got so far. It's just a long strip with a bunch of petals on it. Now, to start the contrast, we're going to go back down to the end that we started with. This is the end that we've started with, and we're going to start in this chain 1 that we have right here. So I'm just going to put my hook through that chain 1, and I'm going to pull my yarn through, and I'm just going to tie it on. You'll find in many different videos that a lot of people don't like to tie knots in their work, but for me, I feel it's the most secure way. Because I know if I tie that on right there with a knot, it's not going to come loose. So that's tied on, and I'm going to go back through this, and you will never see that knot. So I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and then I'm just going to pull a chain, put a chain through there, and then pull it tight. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a single crochet in each one of these stitches around. So I'm going to actually go back into this same stitch, and I'm going to single crochet. Okay, so I just put a single crochet in that first stitch, and I'm going to put single crochet in the next stitch, and then in every stitch across, and the only difference is when I get to this one, which is kind of where the two petals meet, I'm actually going to go through this space. So I'm going to go down here into the space, the original space, the double crochet spaces where these petals are worked into, just for this middle one right here. I'm going to go down into that space and pull up a very loose loop like that, and then I'm going to single crochet, and that will kind of bring this color down here, so it'll give the petals a little more definition. And then we're going to go into our next single crochet, which is right here, and then just continue on around the petal. Okay, now I'm going to go down here, pull up a loose single crochet, and then crochet, and then I'm going to go right back into this one. So if you look at it, it'll look like the petal has more definition, like it's actually, you know, shaped the way that a petal is. So I'll do the next one, and then Now we want to go down into here, pull up a loose loop, and then single crochet it together. So that's what it looks like so far. You want to make sure that you get all of your stitches all the way around, and then your last stitch will be down through the bottom. So I'm going to finish doing that, and I will meet you at the end of this row. Okay, I made it back to down to the last petal. So we're just going to continue to crochet all the way around to the end. And then for this one, I like to single crochet down here. So I'm going to put 2 single crochets around this last double crochet right here. And then we can tie off. So this is what you should have so far. Just one long curly piece. So I'm going to show you how to sew that together. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and hide all my ends, and then I will be back. Okay, so we're going to start at the end that we just finished off on. So I'm just going to cut a length of yarn. If I had thought about it, I would have left a long tail, but since I didn't think about it, I'm just going to cut some yarn. So we're going to take that end that we finished off on, and we're just going to curl it around like this. And we're going to go to the back. And we're going to sew this end to the bottom chain. So I'm just going to sew it through like that. This is going to be the back. It's going to be facing whatever project that you're going to put it on. And since I had to cut a piece of yarn, I'm just going to tie it real quick. The back is not going to be seen, so no one really cares whether there's a knot there or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in a couple stitches along that edge. And then I'm just going to keep turning this and placing the petals exactly the way that I want it. So I kind of want that little curly Q in the middle like that. So as we turn it, we're just going to keep sewing each one of these edges down. Sorry, I bumped the camera. And you want it to lay kind of flat on the back. So as you're doing it, the back's flat and each one of the petals are placed properly. And this doesn't have to be perfect because no one's going to see the back. So you just want to kind of wind it around until it is sitting the way that you want. And then just sewing each layer to each other. Oops. Okay, now once I'm sure that I have it exactly how I want it, I'm going to go ahead and sew this petal all the way down. That way it just doesn't come loose. Okay. Now what I like to do is I like to run a couple stitches up through the middle to secure this first little piece to make sure it stays exactly the way that I want it. Now you want to make sure that this doesn't go through any of the contrasting color through the middle of the flower where the piece is the same color. And you can tweak it a little bit, make sure it lays the way that you want it to. And then I also like to put just a couple stitches in between each one of the layers. And you usually only have to do do one. So that should keep it pretty secure. So that is the finished flower. Like I said, you'll want to tweak the petals a little bit and make sure that they're all facing the same way and whatnot. So that is the finished flower. I always just leave this long string on because you never know what project you're going to sew this flower to. And it's always best to have more string than too little. So there is the small flower. It is much easier with the bigger flowers to get it to lay right, but I think this one works out just fine. So I hope you liked the tutorial today. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.